What's up, Mike? So I decided to do a test against the Canon EOS R on 10-bit to make it fair comparison against the Fuji Xt-4. So I'm using my Atomos to basically, I'm recording on both cameras, so I may switch back and forth, whatnot. But I decided to do an outside test. This was like a run and gun. Unfortunately, the Fuji was at 4K 60 frames a second. But I try to do a comparable outdoor test. I try to I'm going in and out of the frame. I'm moving around to see if it tracks my eye. But nevertheless, the EOS R is in C-Log 10-bit 4K 30 frames a second. The Fuji is in 4K 60 frames a second on this outdoor shot that you're seeing right now. So let's go ahead and get back into the studio and so doing more testing with putting some objects in front of the camera. I am running off of auto white balance because to me it doesn't really matter, but I know the test could be, it can mess with the test. But auto white balance, I manually tried to match the exposure based on what I saw on the back of the screen. Yeah, so I try to also get the focal distance to be the same so that you can actually see. Right now, the EOS R, I'm actually looking in the screens and I can see what is tracking me, what is not tracking me. Both of them, I can tell, are doing eye autofocus. I am roughly 3 feet away from both of those cameras. The EOS R is just slightly pushed back about 2 inches. So EOS R is a little further distance back. The settings are relatively the same, right? So 1000 ISO, I think I'm seeing, I stand corrected, I am actually seeing the Fuji actually change its ISO as I'm moving around. So hopefully that doesn't mess with the image too much. The Canon is obviously locked down on its ISO. Now, I think the Canon is a little too hot, but they do recommend in in C-Log or F-Log to expose a little on the positive side, the more brighter side. So obviously the aperture lighting me, and I'll turn it off to see if eye autofocus works. Fuji may adjust because it's on auto ISO. Obviously the Fuji is going to adjust, so give it a second. But yeah, that is it, 10-bit. I'm looking at my Atomos and I haven't really connected with the Fuji, but the Atomos looks like the Canon is like very crispy. And that's maybe because of the bigger screen. I think the Fuji actually, just from the comparison right now, has a higher resolution back screen than the EOS R. So I'm recording all of this audio on the Fuji though, because that's already set up for this type of camera, so I didn't want to switch it up with the Canon. Other than that, I'm going to do some quick autofocus tests, and I'll just block my face on each camera, because it is set to read my face. So far, I mean, everything is in agreement with the Fuji. As soon as I put it up to my face, it should focus. Now, I don't know, I'm getting blocked by the book, but that's the Canon. Focus. So that's a book. Let's try something a little smaller. Fuji. All right, back on the Fuji. This is the EOS R, block my face. All right, so I don't have a comparable lens. And the only thing I can on the EOS R side to the Fuji. And so the Canon is running my 18 to 35 1.8. So I can tell that the autofocus isn't as fast, and I do apologize. That's all I have. I'll try to do this test with my 35. So let's swap out that and see if we can do a 35 native on the EOS R, and then we'll make this 816 to 55 look like a 35 millimeter. I don't think this is that hard to do. Back onto that test again one more time. Now for the Canon. So now let's switch out lens to the 35. All right, so we are, and I gotta step back a little bit. So we are on the 35 millimeter the RF lens on the Canon, and the Fuji just kind of focal length to match the Canon. So let's do the test and we'll go from there. Now I do have the view assist on both cameras, even though they're shooting an F-log. The Canon just looks like it's a better assist. That's one thing I'll say. So let's do that same test again. Block the face on the Fuji. All right, block the face on the Canon. Fuji. I don't know if it focused. Block the face on the Canon.